previous episode, I promised to explain what great Gunpla has. I am a man you can trust. I am a man who can keep promises. I am a man with his words. In this episode, I will be a real man.
Hello, this is me, Mr. Alice. I've been doing Gunpla since 2011 and I will share all about Gunpla with you. Since Gunpla first released in 1980, Gunpla has development under assembly technology, articulation, size, color separation, and other features. I will divide the Gunpla grades according to their scale. On its scale, I will give a star to indicate what grade is the best on the scale. Of course, that is my personal opinion. So, hold your attention to my Gunpla before watching this video. Because choosing your Gunpla is harder than to choose your lover. You can thank me later. First scale in Gunpla is Super Deformed or SD. SD is famous for its midget shape, big head, small body. Very cute. This grade has size about 8 to 10 centimeters. Assembling SD is also fairly easy because of small number of parts and almost no small parts. Usually SD lack of color and detail, so it comes with quite a lot of stickers. For articulation, don't get your hopes up. This SD grade isn't meant for extreme poses. For my last price, is it clear that this SD grade is very affordable. Starting from 7 SD, you can get your SD Gunpla. First lineup for SD is SD-G generation, released in 1988. It has the simplest design and the least number of parts compared to other SD. Very limited color separation and articulation. Here is an example. This is SD-G generation, the old legendary RX-78.2 Gundam. And then come the next generation, SD-BB Sensi, which released in 1999. This is lined up. There's a slight increase in details, shape, and color separation. For example, in SD-BB Sensi for RX-78.2 Gundam, there's articulation on the hand and better color separation. The height is also slightly increased, although the sticker or paint job is still needed. The next lineup of SD is the SD-EX Standard, which appeared in 2015. The weapon and gimmicks you get can also be used on high-grade Gunpla. Yeah, you can see it from the manual. Unfortunately, in terms of detail, it hasn't improved. Even the color separation of the BB Sensi is much better. Another weakness that exists in this lineup is that many parts are hollow. So even though the front view is attractive, please don't lock it from the back. It's already like my empty wallet. That's why subscribe. Next, in 2018, Bandai released SD's cross silhouette. Its unique feature is the inner frame. Yes, SD with inner frame, which is called as CS frame. This frame provides two choices of proportion. First is standard SD mode with standard articulation and proportion of SD just like previous lineup, and CS mode which has better articulation and higher proportion. The color separation also increased significantly, although without using the sticker, the look is already pleasing to the eyes. And then there is also the SD Sengoku Musou, which is a collaboration between Gundam anime and legendary characters from Japan or China. For example, SD Sengoku Musou Liubusinayu and whatever his name is a combination of the Sinanju mobile suit and character Lubu from China. For articulation, it may not differ much from the BB Sensi SD lineup. And of course, the lineup relies on a large number of stickers to make it look more attractive. And for the stars of the SD scale, I will give it to SD Cross Silhouette. The reason is clear. Excellent in articulation and color separation is the superior point of this grade. And don't forget the inner frame. Although for some models, frame with CS mode must be purchased separately. Just take it. Admit it, we are all Bandai slaves. And next in our list is grade on scale of 1 per 144. The first lineup is old 1 per 144 Gunpla. Why do I call it old? Because when this grade was released in 1980, Bandai didn't seem to have thought about grade. At the beginning of the release, this grade still needed a little glue and paint to be practically finished. The articulation and details are very limited and most of them only consist of one color part. And next is first grade. See, in this grade, the term of snapfit was introduced by Bandai, where there is no need for glue to assemble it anymore. Of course, there is a slight increase in the articulation, although it is still not exactly cool for a dynamic pose. And then entry grade was released for the first time in 2011. In that year, this grade was still very similar to first grade. In this grade, a part separator was introduced so that we no longer need a nipper. The articulation itself is still limited to the neck, shoulder, hips, and ankles, still in entry grade. Recently, in 2020, Bandai reboot entry grade with better part color separation and articulation. This reboot EG is practically the same as high grade. The part separator was removed on the entry grade reboot, and Bandai claims that the parts can be separated only by hand. And next in our list is Advanced Grade. This grade is specifically issued for the Gundam 8 series only. This grade has a fairly good part color separation and is claimed not require tool or pen to assemble. In its kits, there is also a microchip that can be used in the Gauge in arcade game for little kids. Have you tried this game? Please share your experience in the comment. Advanced grade lacks details and articulation, which is limited to the head and shoulder. And next in our list is high grade. High grades offer an affordable price as well as a good part color separation and articulation compared to the grade I mentioned earlier. This grade also has a quite strong construction and can have dynamic pose. Recently, high grade has continued to improve its quality from various aspects. In some of the latest high grade release from Iron-Blooded Orphan series, an inner frame is introduced, which is practically complete skeleton feature from head to feet. Next is Real Grade. This grade was first released in 2010. Real Grade is claimed to be a grade that combines the small size and affordable price of high grade, features an inner frame from master grade, many parts as well as detail of perfect grades. Real grade, it has advanced MS joints that contains an inner frame and it's made using the dual molding technique. Even though in scale of 1/144, there is articulation on the finger part. That's it for the grade in 1/144 scale category, and I will give the star to high grade. Although the detail is not as good as real grade, but high grade offers advantages such as a more sturdy construction, more choice of models. Yes, almost all Gundam models are available on high grade, and of course, more affordable, especially for me. And next in our scale is 1/100. The first grade in 1/100 scale is 1/100 non-grade. You already know that high grade has a 1/144 scale. Now imagine that high grade is in 1/100 size. That is 1/100 non-grade. Moderate details but with a larger size. That's it. And next grade is master grade. Detail, articulation, proportion, part color separation, and size about 18 centimeters. In those aspects, only perfect grade can beat master grade. Most of these grades feature a skeleton or a very detailed inner frame, including the functional hydraulic, articulated fingers, and even some Gunplas are equipped with LED unit. This grade is also equipped with a pilot with a scale of 1/100. So, it really represents the Gundam in the anime. Recently, Bandai also released MG Extreme with a special extreme point feature, which is said to highlight certain technology in each MGEX Gunpla. When this video was made, there was a MGEX Unicorn Gundam with a flexible LED feature that can be attached to the internal part of inner frame. Next is 1/100 full mechanics. This series is devoted to the Iron-Blooded Orphan Gundam series. At the beginning of this appearance, this Gunpla series was only named 1/100, but since the second season of the Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundam, this Gunpla grade has been changed to a 1/100 full mechanics, even though I don't see the difference. This grade also has an inner frame like the master grade, but of course the overall details are still below the master grade, such as not being equipped with a pilot. Next grade is Reborn 100. This grade was made for several types of Gundam that were not released in Master Grade. And this grade what comes out a large mobile suite such as Nightingale, Gerbera Gundam, which when released for Master Grade will be expensive. From the detail aspect on the outside, you could say this grade is equivalent to Master Grade, but without an inner frame. And that's it, the grade in 1 to 100 scale category. And the star I will give it to, of course, Master Grade. Master Grade is usually chosen because it has good details just like mecha in real life, but the price is still below the perfect grade. Next we have a scale of 1/60. There is only 2 grades in this scale. First grade for this scale is 1/60 non-grade. Just imagine high grade in the size of 1/60 or about 30 centimeters. The last model released for this grade was the Exia Gundam in 2007. And next is perfect grade. This grade is claimed by Bandai to have the most complete feature and gimmicks, almost the same as the original mobile suite, such as articulation and maximum detail both the armor and the inner frame, even though there are several parts, especially in joints that use metal materials. Of course, perfect grade is also equipped with LED to make it more attractive to the eyes. With the many features offered and its larger size, is it clear that you can guess that perfect grade is the grade with the most number of parts and the most expensive price? And the star for 1/60 scale is... Do I really need to explain? Sorry guys, my lazy habit is coming out. And next scale is 1/48. There is only one grade in this scale, that is mega size. Although the size is bigger than perfect grade, the price of this grade is not as expensive as the perfect grade because the number of parts is not as much as perfect grade. Think of it as an enlarged high grade. And for honorable mention, we have 1/200 speed grade. In 2007, Bandai issued a grade which has a quite interesting for me because of the smaller scale of 1/200. The uniqueness of this grade is that some part has been painted from the factory. So don't worry because it's clear that you don't need to paint this grade. As for articulation, you should not expect more because the articulation of this grade is no better than high grade. Another uniqueness, packaging. So that's it video from me. I hope you like it. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Is there any Gunpla grade that I missed? Please give your comment. Goodbye, and we will meet again in my next video. Are you curious? Yes, right? Right, of course. Alice greeting.